Hello everyone and thank you for joining me again. Well, today, as probably the title kind of gives it away, just continuing having fun with the dip pens, and I'm actually going to be using a new holder from TachiKawa. I assume Japanese company. I could be wrong, to be honest with you. I never heard this name until now. And most probably they could be one of the best brands out there for dip pens, and I'm not even aware of. And I'm also going to try finally again the Zebra G nib that I've added my spring with the magnet behind it to have some sort of a reservoir in there and spare me from dipping the nib too often in the ink bottle. Speaking of the ink bottle, as a funny story, just before I pressed record on the camera, which I guess kind of spared me from the embarrassment that I kind of went through. I don't know what was in my head. Probably I was a little bit tired and not thinking straight, but I picked up the bottle and I tried to open it. But you see, this ink usually, when it starts to dry, it becomes a little bit tacky, the rotary ink, and it gets a little bit stuck in there. And as you're trying to struggle and open the cap, sometimes, you move your hands a little bit in weird ways. And as I was actually opening the cap, I spilled quite a lot of ink on my hands. Now my hands do look clean because, well, in theory, when I started recording, I had to wait another half an hour or something like that. And basically I was scrubbing my hands with a kitchen sponge to remove all the ink. Fortunately, I was able to do that. Also, I had to do some cleaning on my desk. Fortunately, though, the mat that I'm having on the desk is black, so it won't really show through. And I was inspired to actually use black ink today, so everything worked out okay. Other than the fact that for a couple of good minutes in there, my entire hand was literally black. I did manage to actually take it off pretty well. I did use the sponge, and I used the rougher side of the sponge with some basically dish soap, and scrubbing for like 20 minutes. I managed to get everything off. Or at least it was good enough that you can't actually see in the video. Anyway, sorry. Going back. So again, I was actually curious about this holder. I've seen it on Amazon a couple of times. I liked the look of it. I like that blue rubber bit that it has for where your hands are resting, and it's actually very comfortable now that I have it and I'm looking at it. And the other thing that I actually kind of liked about it is that it has a cap. I haven't seen any other pen holder other than the one that I'm making for myself that has a cap. I mean, the cap doesn't really sit in there, but it still helps when you put it in like a pen holder or something like that, and it sits with the nib up. You won't stab yourself as you might reach for something and you're not realizing how close that nib might be to your hand. The other thing is that I like it, even though it's a little bit annoying, you can post the cap, as I've shown a little bit earlier in the video, and it works. It sits actually pretty well in there. It's not gonna fall, but for my larger hands, at least the way I'm holding the holder, the end of the cap actually kind of rubs at the top of my on the knuckle for my pointer finger, and if I try and hold it from a little bit higher up, it becomes even worse. So for me, while it's cool to see that you can post the cap, that didn't really work out for me. At least I will make the assumption that maybe not everyone with hands on the larger side will find it comfortably posted. If you have smaller hands, might actually work for you. Give it a try. I wanted to buy this specific holder too because it came as a set with 20 Zebra G nibs. Another kind of maybe unfortunate story. A couple of weeks back, if not even a month or something like that, I wanted to buy the Zebra G nibs. I believe I did make a video when I was started to talk about, hey, maybe I should try these nibs again. And I did buy just a pack of 10. And when it came from Amazon in an envelope, there were actually only 4. Apparently somebody else before me opened that pack and helped themselves to 6 nibs and left 4 in there. I was quite frustrated, but fortunately I was able to return it, get my money back. And then, like I mentioned, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I got the courage again. I was like, you know what, I'll get the holder with the 2 packs, which actually turns out to be a better deal. Anyway, because for the single 10 nibs pack, I believe it was like 26 Canadian dollars. And for the holder with the 2 10 nib packs, it was like 35 Canadian dollars or something like that. So a better deal. And this time I got everything that I paid for. And I was quite happy because I do like the holder and I would have hated to return it. Again, TachiKawa, I'll be honest, I don't know much of the company. They might be extremely famous and I'm not doing them justice, but holding this holder in my hand, I like it. It's a nice design and I like it that the weight is towards the nib as I usually like it, so it kind of points down naturally, at least again for myself. As for the Zebra G, I think I noticed some differences, but might be just in my head or might be just a small defect on this actual nib. A little bit of scratchy nib. Maybe in time as I use it, it'll get a little bit better. I did remove the oil from the nib with a flame. I had no issues with that. Seemed to have very good inflow. And the other thing is, because it's combined with that spring and magnet in the back, as I dip into the ink bottle and then I start drawing, eventually the ink starts drying on the nib and the tines actually kind of get stuck together like almost soft glue. And sometimes from time to time I go to a side paper to actually push on the nib and force split those tines. And as such, I actually had like a build up of dry ink going on the nib. I'm not sure if I can dilute this ink a little bit more. I like the ink. I definitely like the ink, but it feels like maybe not ideal in the sense, not ideal for deep nibs in the sense that when it's exposed to air for too long, it starts, well, obviously dry out as it should, and you get like a build up on the tip of the nib, and you're starting getting actually thicker lines. I had to stop a couple of times and cleaned the nib with some paper towel. I think I don't remember having the same issues when using Nico G and the Maru nib. Definitely not with the Maru nib, but most probably Maru nib holds a little bit less ink. Plus I didn't use the spring and the magnet on the Maru nib. And again, I did not notice that on the Nico G nib, but I might have forgotten. So the idea is I'm going to try and see, maybe sometime in the future, I'm going to try and use the actual fountain pen inks that I have as deep pen nibs and see what I can get from them. Yeah. It worked okay though in the end. I liked it, and I do like the holder. If you ever wonder if you would want to try but you wasn't sure, personally I like it. Give it a try, and obviously buy it from somewhere where you can return it. What I like about the holder is that it comes with that plastic ferrule where you can use both nibs, the regular quote-unquote nibs and smaller or Maru nibs. Anyway, enough with the with the stories. About the drawing, quickly before, while I'm kind of towards the ending here. The goal for today was just to get something in there, so I didn't really had a plan. I kind of went with the flow, and I was just trying to experiment again with ink and see if the issues that I have were, I think that there is some conflict between the ink lines and the ink wash on top of it, is if I'm putting way too much ink and it gets to be too saturated, that overpowers the lines. And I think that is the case. While I do love the colors extremely, well, it does feel that it kind of distracts. I mean, it kind of adds in a way, but at the same time, it kind of takes away from the lines. Next drawing that I'll be doing for next week, I'll probably actually use something that I've been saying for a while now, the technical pens, the ones that I had from Hero that were done in collaboration with Stedler back in the day. I think I've used them sometime at the beginning when I started my channel and when my audio was extremely terrible. I know a lot of people complain about it. And I'm going to bring them back because I never really done a full drawing with them, at least not a video with it. And in the next drawing, I'll try and use less ink just to give an idea of ink. So they might not be as colorful as this one turned out. Again, I love the colors. I love how they combine. I love how they look. But I think it still overpowers maybe the lines a little bit. Anywho, I think I'll stop here. I rambled a lot and probably bored you to death. I do like the holder. Definitely recommend it. I didn't see a huge difference in the Zebra G compared with the Nico G, I think. So most probably in the future, there will be a video doing these two nibs head to head together at the same time in a drawing. But sometime maybe later. I know there were requests that maybe I should start doing some drawings with the fountain pens as well. So I might go back to that too. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'll just go with the flow. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found it at least a little bit entertaining. And I'll see you next week. I wish you nothing but the best and a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.